That is a very good question. Maybe I can help you with this one.
Percent of Islam we're focusing on.
Right.
If you have this glass of water and you have 95 for it is water, but 5% is poison, it's going to kill you. So this is exactly what we have with Islam. Yes, you can talk about God, you can talk about worshiping, but how about violence against people like me? How about violence against Christians and Jews? You are ordered to wage war against them. That's what happened to my ancestors in Morocco. Berbers, they were Christians. They were executed. They were enslaved. That's what happened to people in Egypt, in Iraq, in Syria.
Have Brahman being everything and all is one, and you also have the existence of roughly 330 million gods. But the problem is, this worldview is false, and it's easily demonstrated. The first thing I'll say,
my problem with Buddhism was that although so much of what Buddha said made a lot of sense,
okay,
at the end of the day, Buddha was a human being. And he'd admitted this himself, right? He's just coming up with the best guess that he could, contemplating and thinking and whatever, it came from his own understanding,
okay,
right? And so he came up with this, the eightfold enlightened path based upon certain principles that he came up with, things that he understood. And he claimed it, in a sense, it's almost like he was saying it's fitra. He says that anyone will understand this, right? But at the end of the day, I was trying to understand what is the purpose of life, why are we here, what's it all for, what's the reason for our existence. And although Buddha comes up with some answers, my real problem at the end of the day was still, well, how do you know? How do you really know, right? How can you be sure?
Let's talk about it. Do I have your attention? Do I have your attention now? You see, this is a whiny thing that Christians always seem to come on my channel and want to make these types of statements of why doesn't people criticize Hinduism and Buddhism or Islam or Hindu or any other religion. They always seem to want to attack Christianity. It took me all of 15 minutes to find those videos on people criticizing those other religions. Maybe the reason why you don't see it is because you don't look for it. Or maybe the algorithm that, based on your searches and based on the videos that you look at, all deal with Christianity. So you're going to come across other videos that deal with Christianity, but in a negative and a positive way. Well, your next thing will probably be, well, why do you always seem to talk about Christianity and never talk about the other religion? Because I was born into a Christian family. I was born into an area that was largely Christian. I was born surrounded in America by churches instead of temples and things of that nature, because Christianity was all around me. It's the one that I learned and knew more about and the one that affected my life the most. Now, if I was born into Christianity, but I grew up in North Africa and had to deal with the trans-Sahara slave trade, I'd probably talk about Islam just as much. But I was born in America, where the overwhelming majority of people who participated in the transatlantic slave trade were Christian. Therefore, I talk about Christianity more than I'm going to talk about any other religion, because it's the one that I know the best and it's the one that I came out of. Now, because of that, Christianity is the greatest of all the evils, then followed by Islam, then Judaism. So the Abrahamics take the top three. And then, to a lesser degree, the Hindus, the Buddhists, and so on and so forth. But if you are Christian, I would encourage you to study the history and actually study what the book is actually talking about, not what the preachers have convinced you of or earlier Christian fathers have created doctrines about. I mean, your book does say study to show yourself approved. But as I have clearly demonstrated, there are those who were born into those other religions who now criticize those religions, as well as Christians who criticize those religions. So always remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibration.